Hey there and good morning. I am John. Today is Monday, April 17th, 2023. It's time to kick off a new week of my ongoing experiment to try to turn my hobby of content creation into a sustainable job of content creation ever since I was laid off from my long-time career a few months ago. And so, by the way, I first want to say thank you and welcome. I've noticed a few new subscribers just in the last week or so, and I want to I kind of thought we had the group of people who cared what I was doing was already here, and to see more people subscribe just to kind of see what's going on. I mean, I know you may just be here sampling to see, what is this nut doing every day, but just to click the button says that you're interested, and I'm happy that you're here, and I've seen many of you interact in the comments. Welcome, and thank you for that. So as I do each time, let's kind of get caught up talking about yesterday. In this case, it'll be the whole weekend and what I'm doing today, and how things are going. So the whole yesterday and weekend is going to be a larger chunk, I think. So we'll try to get that streamline that a bit. So you'll recall that when we spoke on Friday, several things were happening. We were at about 22,500 or so subscribers, like halfway to 22.6, I think. We had podcast recording that day. That I had to do a little bit of prep work for, and I had a big project going on over the weekend that was going to start on Friday evening, where I'm changing out a big piece of equipment in my editing studio, or my office, I guess you'd call it. It's just a large TV. We're replacing the TV, but it's a large screen, and you have to move a bunch of junk around. And anyway, so the equipment change out was successful. A good friend of mine came over both Friday night and Saturday to help me with kind of logistics and planning and heavy lifting and stuff like that. I'm still finishing the details because I'm such a pack. You couldn't tell. I'm such a pack rat. Look at the junk behind me, and this is just a slice of it, right? Because I knickknacks and stuff decorated everywhere. I had to empty that room to kind of get the work done. So I'm redoing that, and but the change out was good. And what it means is the monitor that I edit on every single day that was having like shading problems and whatever. It's fixed because it's a new monitor, so I'm in good shape there. So over the weekend, I was, and on Friday, before I got that done, I had hoped to get a couple of things done before the podcast recording, where I wanted to get a short out, which it did, another arcade game short, which is doing well. And I wanted to start a long-form video, kind of get some prep work on it. I didn't get to prepping a long-form video, really. I haven't actually picked a new one to get out today, or early this week. There are several I can pick from. As I always do, I go through the list of what's going on, what kind of grabs me. So I'll start work on that today, later. The other is that we started recording the podcast a little early in the day on Friday, which I love because it means you're not up late Friday. But all of that was work that kind of front-loaded and took care of buttoning up the week, getting ready for Monday. Now, a great weekend for stats. Let's talk about the interim over the weekend. So typically, like if you haven't, it's hard to express how important and different this is. Like typically it used to be, even just 3-4 months ago, I was very excited if we were getting, it's 100, 200, 300 views per hour, just in general, just on the entire YouTube channel. We've been doing a little bit better than that. We've been getting, 200, 300, 400, 500 sometimes. It kind of dips up into there, or bigger for a moment, but not sustained. Over the weekend, and starting about Thursday or Friday, because I mentioned on Friday that a lot of short videos were doing really well. Across Thursday and Friday and Saturday and Sunday, all across there, we had a sustained above 1,000 views per hour with very little deviation, just maybe late at night, like at 2, 3 in the morning, which has resulted in huge numbers for our viewership. Like if I glance over here, I think it's been like 50 or 60,000 views in the last 48 hours, right? That's a lot compared to what used to be. We were looking for maybe 4,000 or 5,000 in the last 48 hours. So huge, dramatic numbers. YouTube estimates that our viewership is up about 400% over last month, over our typical average, which has been slowly increasing, right? And because of all that exposure and engagement, and we were at a little past 22,500 subscribers. On Friday, we passed 22,006. On Saturday, we passed 22,007 sometime in the day. And then just this morning, 22,800 subscribers. So over the weekend, about 250 to 300 new subscribers, which means all new eyeballs. On top of all that, the video that I released on, I think it was Thursday, that I wasn't sure it was going to do really well, has done really, really well. I mean, not top of the barrel, but it's a lot of our videos will kind of just peak out at around 5,000 or 6,000 views, and that's kind of it, unless they do gangbusters. This one's up over, I haven't looked even this morning, but even just looking yesterday, it was up over 11,000 views. It's so encouraging. That's literally a video where I went, let's look in my drawer of stuff I have that I want to do a video on someday and just do it. And I was able to deliver an entertaining video with a captivating thumbnail and a good title that people are continuing to click on. Even today, it's still up over 100 views an hour. Just that one video. Now remember, I used to be happy if I was getting 100 views per hour total. And now that 100 views per hour on that video that's doing really well is only about 10% of all of the hourly traffic that we're getting. Is this an anomaly? That's what I'm always afraid of. But could it continue like this? Maybe it could. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, someone's dinging me on my phone. Sorry about that. Let's mute it before it rings and something crazy happens. So that's super encouraging. Just like we talked about last week, I'm always waiting for the drop off and the disappointment, because YouTube has beat me into submission to know that any success is temporary and fleeting. I hope I'm wrong, but I almost can't enjoy it because I'm just like ready for the disappointment on the tail end. But this is we always talk about firsts that I remember. This is the first longest, highest sustained period of time, which basically is 4 or 5 days now, of steady, constant traffic. It's not just a flash in the pan. We'll get those. We always get a flash in the pan. Just for some reason, a video goes bang and then it drops off after a couple hours. And we're talking about days and days and days. We've continued this kind of velocity. So pressure, no pressure, John. Now you got to do something else to keep this stuff flowing. So finally, what am I doing today? Did I catch everything I wanted to talk about from the last few days? I think so. If not, we'll be here tomorrow, right? So for today, I'm excited for today because it's kind of a clean slate. It's not a super busy week. So I definitely want to plan for look around and kind of find other good, interesting short videos that I can do to sprinkle out throughout the week. And of course, I need to pick the next long form video and begin production on that. I have the recordings from Friday's podcast, which I'll start preparing. I already started preparing actually, because we're going to edit the first one tomorrow morning on Tuesday, as we always do over on Twitch, but we'll talk about that some more tomorrow. But yeah, it was a big weekend, even though I didn't have to stop and work on GenXGrownUp stuff over the weekend. When the stats are like that, I'm obsessing over the stats because I obsess over them whether they're good or bad. But the good ones I enjoy, right? You're like, oh, look how good it's still doing. That's so cool. So I think let me go ahead and get my week kicked off then. Let me get into the office and get to work on that replaced monitor that I still have a lot of cleanup to do around. I want to thank you so much for stopping by to check out today's vlog. If you're here every day, you know who you are. I love you for that. Thanks so much. Have a good Monday and a good week, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.